If you love music and know you want a job in the music industry, the hardest part might not be committing to going for it but choosing your perfect music career. There are tons of different ways you can get involved in music and lots of different music jobs you can do. This guide should help you narrow down your list a little and figure out which part of the music business suits you best. Below you'll find some common music careers and pros and cons for each that you should consider before making the leap. You'll also find links to more information about each career. Music industry job, record labels, running a label, pros. You never have to work with music you don't love or a band that drives you crazy. You can get a hand in every step of the process, from choosing the releases, picking a release date, planning the promotion, working on tours, and so on. The cons requires an upfront investment. Someone has to pay for that first release. It can be a very long time before you make any money. Just as you get to have a hand in every part of a release, you often have to pay for most of those parts, so juggling cash flow is a challenge. Requires good organizational skill, and you must be able to self-motivate. You can learn more about running your own record label in these articles. Music industry job, record labels, working for a label. The pros, learning the ropes of record labels without taking any of the financial risk yourself. A chance to sample different aspects of the music industry, to help you figure out where your strengths are. The pay may not always be great, depending on the size of the label, but it's still better than footing the bill yourself. The cons, you don't get to pick the music, so you may not love every album you're working on. At larger record labels, you could essentially end up doing office work instead of working closely with music. Music manager. The pros, get to have involvement in every aspect of a band's career, and thus, you get a hand in many different parts of the music business. You get to work with music you love. The cons, if you work independently for up-and-coming bands, payday can be a long way off, and you may have to spend some money up front. Band manager relationships can get dicey. Can be very stressful. Managers shoulder a lot of responsibility, and when things go wrong, and they will, you're in the crosshairs. Requires organization, self-motivation, and you have to be willing to speak up and ask for the things you want. Find out more about working as music manager. Music promoters. The pros, perfect job if you love live music. Pulling off a great show is thrilling. You get to work with bands you love. Can be paid well, depending on what kinds of shows you're doing. The cons, if you work independently, in small venues and with smaller bands, can cost you a fortune. Breaking even can be a good night. Tons of responsibility. Show day can be very stressful. Can be one of the most thankless jobs in music. To some bands, if the show is good, yay us. If the show is bad, boo you. Promo is hard work, and it could all be for note. You can make anyone write about the show or come to the gig. Learn more about music promoter. Music agent. The pros, another good job for people who love live music. Gives you the chance to work with managers, bands, promoters, and labels. Lets you have a hand in putting shows together without being on the front lines like promoters. The cons, can be hard to break into. It can take a long time to get established as an agent. Unless you get lucky and get a job at an agency right off the bat, you may have to work for little to no money while you're building a name for yourself. Requires good organizational skills. There are lots of moving parts when you're booking a tour. When a band is on tour, you're on call. For more information on music industry jobs, visit www.musicbusiness4newartists.com.